As Ubby has started to go to school, today's topic is about kids and school, starting from what age they should go, all prerequisites, and some of the other important topics. According to the NEP, the minimum admission age for children is 3 years for nursery, 4 years for LKG, and 5 years for UKG. The child must go through a 3-year foundation before entering Class I at 6. What is the best age for a child to start school? What is the best age to start your child's education? Experts say that it is around the time a child hits age 5. At least in the formal sense of schooling, age 5 is the sweet spot in which a child is able to comprehend more intermediate skills like counting or form better word association. Is it okay to send a 3-year-old to school? As per experts, 3 years is an ideal age for kids to start their schooling. However, there are few things you must consider before sending your little one to school. They can sit still for short periods. They can spend time away from their parents. What class should a 3-year-old be in India? Pre-primary education in India generally starts at the age of 3 and goes until the age of 6, which comprises kindergartens or play schools. These schools have varying names for different levels of classes, beginning from pre-nursery, nursery, KG, LKG lower kindergarten, and UKG upper kindergarten. Is a 3-year-old a toddler or preschool? A 3-year-old has transitioned from being a toddler to a preschooler. At 3 years old, your child will make up stories, play, build relationships, learn right from wrong, manage their feelings and figure out different types of words. What is the correct age for LKG? 4 years. According to this rule, the minimum age of a child to be enrolled for LKG is 4 years, UKG is 5 years, and Class 1 is 6 years with effect from the academic year. What category is a 3-year-old? Young toddlers equals 12 to 17 months, older toddlers equals 18 to 23 months. Preschoolers are children 3 through 5 years old. Older preschoolers are 4 to 5 years old. Is my 5-year-old ready for school? Before entering kindergarten, your child should be able to complete basic academic tasks like following multiple step directions, counting to 10, and recognizing letters. Their time in this first official year of school will build off what they learned during their preschool years. Is 2.5 years too early for nursery? What is the right age for preschool in India? The age for preschool typically falls between 2.5 and 3.5 years. However, it is important to consider each child's unique development and readiness for structured learning and social engagement. Can my 3-year-old daughter go to school? Children born September-December. A child would usually be expected to start school in the September following their 4th birthday, however their start can be postponed, or they can attend part-time during the autumn term. This is called deferring a child's admission to primary school. Is nursery and LKG the same? No, nursery and LKG are not the same. Nursery is typically the first formal year of early education, targeting children aged 3 to 4 years. LKG follows nursery and is considered the next step, catering to children around 4 to 5 years old. At what age do kids start talking? Most kids say 1 to 2 words by 15 months and 3 or more words by 18 months. By 2 years old, most toddlers are saying even more words and can put together 2-word sentences. No matter when they say their first words, it's a sure bet they already understand much of what you say. Are 3-year-olds potty trained? Do's and don'ts of potty training your toddler patient. Most children complete potty training by 36 months. The average length it takes toddlers to learn the process is about 6 months. Girls learn faster, usually completing toilet training 2 to 3 months before boys do. How long should a 5-year-old attend for? If your child is between 5 and 8 years old, their attention span ranges between 12 and 24 minutes. After this, it's time to change focus unless the activity is highly engaging. Activities revolving around things that they are or can become familiar with are best for this age group. Is it compulsory to go to nursery? All 3 and 4-year-olds are entitled to up to 15 hours of early education each week for 38 weeks of the year. Education in a school nursery is not compulsory and it may not be possible for every child to secure a place. Which class comes after KG? 1. Pre-primary stage. Pre-primary education in India is provided to children between 3 to 6 years by kindergarten, playway, or play schools. These schools have varying terminology for different levels of classes, beginning from pre-nursery, nursery, KG, LKG and UKG. Deciding when to enroll their child in preschool is crucial for any parent. Your child's educational experience takes shape as they grow and develop. However, precisely what age is preschool? This article will discuss the best age range to enroll children in preschool, important considerations, and the advantages of early learning. Knowing these essential elements will enable you to make more educated choices regarding your child's preschool experience. Age Guide. A good guiding principle can be the kindergarten age guide as stated by the New Education Policy or NEP as it is popularly referred to. As per the NEP, the following age guide classification needs to be followed when it comes to the child's formal education. According to the NEP, the minimum admission age for children is 3 years for nursery, 4 years for LKG, and 5 years for UKG. The child must go through a 3-year foundation before entering Class I at 6. When it comes to preschool, therefore, the age range that emerges is between 2 to 3 years. However, in enrolling the child in preschool, several other factors must be considered besides the child's age. These include physical development of the child. This is one of the most essential aspects to ascertain before enrolling your child in preschool. For one, the child must have the crucial verbal ability to communicate their needs. The ability of the child to sit in one place for a short time is also vital. Additionally, it is essential to see if the child can follow simple instructions. It will also help the child to be potty trained or on the way to be prepared. Emotional development of the child. In addition to the child's physical development, it is also imperative to consider his or her emotional development now, which involves considering several aspects, such as those listed below. Can the child handle transitions? Preschools with a scientifically developed curriculum follow a routine with several activities and some unstructured time. Children are, therefore, expected to transition from one activity to another. It will be a good idea to have them transition ready before enrolling them in preschool. It will help for you to give the child some notice and tell them, for instance, that after they have finished coloring a particular page, it will be time for a snack. That way, the child is mentally prepared for one activity following another. Without this training, children find transitioning from one activity to another hard. Handling separation. For children who spend all their time with their parents, separation anxiety can be a big issue. It is, therefore, best for you to start working on this before the child enrolls for preschool. It is best to leave them with other responsible adults for short periods so that they get used to your absence. It will also help to speak to them about their routine once they join preschool. It is important to tell them you will drop them off at school and wait for them once they are done. All of this, however, may not mean that the child will not cry when he or she is separated from you, but the overall anxiety will be lesser. Interaction with other children. While the child will learn social skills in preschool, it is best to consider whether they can interact with children in a social setting. If the child has been around other children, they can interact well with them. Fundamental aspects such as sharing their belongings or waiting for their turn will not surprise them. While the preschool will provide enough and more socialization opportunities, having taken the first few steps in this direction helps. In choosing a preschool, do remember to do due diligence for the kind of vision they have and whether they follow a scientifically developed curriculum. Professionally run preschools also offer different programs catering to other age groups that you could choose from. For instance, at Footprints, a preferred play school for children across the country, we offer a toddler program for children aged 12 to 24 months where they receive undivided attention and the proper stimulation. The inclusive, engaging, and interactive learning environment helps the child's specific learning and development requirements. There is also a play group for children aged 24 to 36 months where a dedicated team, a well-crafted curriculum, and a safe, nurturing environment ensure the holistic development of children. To sum up, a child's preschool years are a critical turning point in their educational journey because they support progress in various developmental areas. While 3 to 5 years old is usually the best age range for preschool attendance, it's essential to consider your child's developmental milestones and readiness. Preschool gives children an early educational experience and critical skills that prepare them for success in the classroom later. To make an informed choice, don't forget to check out nearby preschools, talk to teachers, and determine what your child needs. Seize the chance to provide your child with a solid foundation for learning and development. Pro tip: a very important aspect to remember when enrolling the child in preschool is not to compare the child with other children unduly. While you need to ensure that the child is adhering to the markers of development, it is essential to remember that each child blooms in his or her own time. To be unduly worried so that another child does not have separation anxiety. At the same time, yours does and will do you and the child no good. What is the best age to start your child's education? What is the average age that a child should begin formal schooling? Experts say that it is around the time a child hits age 5. At least in the formal sense of schooling, age 5 is the sweet spot in which a child is able to comprehend more intermediate skills like counting or form better word association. However, with the presence of curriculums or frameworks targeted towards a child's early years by design, your child may be enrolled as early as age 2. So, as a parent, how do you know when your child should start schooling and what factors should you be thinking about? While there is no definitive answer, since every child differs developmentally, assessing the individual needs and readiness of a child is the first step. Earlier isn't always better. Just remember that the age a child should start schooling is gauged on their developmental readiness. Developmental readiness of a child. The school framework enables a support system to cultivate and supplement your child's development. But it will not prove effective nor beneficial if your child begins to fall short in the expected developmental milestones for their age. For example, is your child able to develop or form some sort of attachment to you, regardless of whether or not you could be in the same room? Developing this trait is already a telltale sign that it may be less of a challenge for them to form an emotional connection outside the home and feel confidently independent. You can make the proper assessment based on their displayed behavior or enroll in the appropriate institutions to do so. Without this, there can be varying schools of thought that leave much to be subjective. If a child experiences developmental delays, it is more ideal to prioritize early schooling so that a child receives direct attention and formation. If a child displays intermediate skills for their age and hits milestones with ease, choosing to hurry up schooling based on these criteria alone may not be ideal, either. There are other factors to consider, such as their emotional development. Development is multifaceted. How does your child fare in the different developmental domains for their age, in terms of communication and language, physical development, and personal, social, and emotional development. A child will generally start to give off indicators to prove whether or not they're ready to start schooling. At St. Andrews, a thorough assessment is integrated into the stages of the enrollment process to validate the readiness of your child and provide reassurance and guidance to the family. Readiness of the family. Did you know that the circumstances of the family is an additional gauge of when your child should begin schooling? Parents take on active roles in their child's formation, so whether the parents are fulfilling their roles within the structure of the family becomes a factor in the schooling decision. Family structure pertains to your household, whether it is a nuclear family, a single-parent household, or even the presence of extended family or a blended household. These circumstances may urge parents to choose earlier schooling to ensure that their children receive the needed attention, given their perhaps limited capacity to provide the attention themselves. Parents are keen to send their children to school as early as possible, sometimes even as young as 3 years for LKG. They believe they are saving a year for their child. However, parents need to think about the many advantages of being an older child at the time of school entry. Faced with the choice of putting a child in an earlier or later class, the wise parent should choose the latter. The ideal age of entry to LKG should be 4 years and STDI at 6 years. There is the mistaken impression amongst people that their child will lose a year if they are put in a class lower than what they are officially eligible for. In fact, the real truth is that these children are gifted an extra year by their parents, a year in which they dramatically increase their chances of being successful in their lives.